So how's the economy? And I ask you that for a really good reason, and maybe even a peculiar reason out there. There's a lot of bad information out there, and there's a lot of decisions based on bad information. Ben Bernanke, anybody heard of him? His predecessor was a guy named Alan Greenspan. Neither one of those guys saw the recession coming. Ben Bernanke actually said this up here. No, the housing market's fine. Everything, stock market's fine. We're not going to have a recession. And he said that in 2007. Recession started almost instantly. It was almost like he started the recession by saying that. Now, we were in this building 3 years later at this show, this convention, and it was at the Truckload Carriers Association in one of the rooms downstairs, and one of the speakers was this high-priced, big-shot economist, and he told us 3 or 5 years ago, he told us the recession was over. And yet, look at the headlines today, and what is it telling you? The headlines today are telling you that we're still in a recovery. And yet, Ben Bernanke didn't see it coming. This guy, this hotshot economist, 5 years ago didn't understand it at all. Now, how the heck can that happen? These guys are brilliant. They got the Ivy League, degrees in economics and everything else, and they're fabulously bright. And I think our economy is so complicated that it can't be understood, and I think that's part of it. Because here are some economic indicators that these guys base their decisions on. Stuff like that. I'm not going to read it to you. I mean, it gives me a headache just thinking about it, what's going on up there. What if 2007 you read that and you were going to make big changes in your business based on what he said? People did that, by the way. They actually did that. They bought a new truck or another truck, or they didn't buy a truck for whatever reason. Maybe that was the big decision. Maybe they moved to a new town or worked on a new shipper, brand new shipper, okay, that they're going to go out and risk everything on right there, because these guys say this kind of stuff up there. So I look at trucking as an economic indicator. Over on the left, that blue line is trucking jobs. That's jobs in trucking according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is part of the Department of Labor, part of the Department of Labor. Over here on the right, this is the Cass Freight Index. This information is free, folks. You don't need me to get it for you. You get it yourself off the internet if you want it. So here's the Cass Freight Index. It comes out every month up there. And the Cass Freight Index is one of my favorites because, see that red line right there? That's 2015. 2014 is the yellow line. 2013 is that color right there. So what's happening with 2015 is it's going right through the middle. It's not as good as 2014, not as bad as 2013. It's still pretty good, okay? Now, what do I do with that information, though? So what? What does that mean to me? Here it is again. Here's the same thing, Cass information system, but I put 2 lines up there and an arrow. And the 2 lines are up there for this. You're going to make most of your revenue between those 2 blue lines. That's where it's going to happen. The first part of the year is slow. The last part of the year is slow. December is slow. So between March and November is where you're going to have to hit it hard, because it's just the way it is. It's a supply and demand business, and this is what supply and demand looks like. And this is based on billions of dollars of revenue. That's where Cass gets this information. Billions of dollars of revenue. I forgot to mention that arrow. If you need a vacation with the kids, take them to Disneyland for 3 or 4 days, better do it July 1st. That's what it's saying. Because look at the pattern. Every July 1st, freight dips. And if you were to go the 1st of July, the first week of July, that would be the exact best time to do it right there, because freight starts to pick up after that. So you can use this stuff as an economic indicator and make good decisions based on it. This is from the Internet Truck Stop. Brett Hutto was up here. He was the first speaker, the guy with the shiny head. And Again, you can get this information online and look at it. So the one on the left is loads, the one on the right is rates. We look at the one on the left every Monday morning. My boss flashes it up on the screen in our office, and we talk about what's going on in the world of trucking. We have to be concerned, because if you guys aren't successful, our customer isn't successful, we're not successful. It truly has to work that way. So we look at the Internet Truck Stop and try to figure out what's going on. There's actually a break-even point up there that we use. I don't want to influence you too much, but we use a break-even point that if the line dips below that what it means is that our customers had better not be too selective if they're in a stinky area for freight, okay? You go from Dallas to Denver, you show up in Denver when that kind of a trend is going on, do not be super selective about freight. You probably want to take the first load you're offered. In this kind of a market, it's a supply and demand world. Because if you lay over, what happens to the engine that drives your business? Your gross revenue? Your average daily revenue goes down if you lay over. And you have to do it on an average daily basis like that. Same thing on the right. The chart on the left drives the chart on the right, demand. So because loads are down, rates are down as well, like that. And they're down significantly. Now, what's that trend going to do the rest of the year? Could you go up a slide, please? So if you see that and you see this, what's going to happen the rest of the year? Now, we can only guess. We're trying to make a prediction. I'd want to be cautious the rest of the year, because it looks to me like freight's going to go like that the rest of the year. It's not going to follow the trend that it has, because of the trend that it's on now. So there we are back at this, and what I'm saying is that you can use trucking as an economic indicator. Don't give yourself a headache reading all that stuff Ben Bernanke reads, because he got it wrong. And Alan Greenspan got it wrong, and that hotshot economist got it wrong. But this stuff here makes sense. Trucking, 80% of the freight in this nation moves by truck, and that's a quote from somebody, and I can't remember who. Somebody said that, 80%, and I said to myself, wait a minute, how can that not be 100%? That railroad didn't deliver it to my door. No, a truck did it, or to my grocery store. Okay, so more of the same. Don't want to bore you with more detail, but what that is on the left, and this is from DAT. DAT has this free on their website, and this is where rates have gone in the last 4 weeks. And on the left, that's a van, in the middle is a flatbed, and on the right's a reefer. And you can see where the direction rates have gone. So what this is telling me, if I want to make good decisions, again, when I get to Denver, I better not be too fussy on the rate. I might be fussy on the destination, but not the rate, because I don't want to lay over at all costs. Similar information on the right. This is from DAT as well. What it's saying, and this is current information, this is from last week. Both of these are. So what it's saying is last week, rates went down. And what it's saying is for the month, rates are down. And what it's saying for the year, rates are down. So that's kind of telling me the state of the marketplace out there. And I think if you use this information, if you care, some people just don't care, and I don't blame them for that, because this gives me a headache even talking about this sometimes. But if you care, this will help you make good decisions in your business. Look at that last line up there on the one on the right. Fuel down 28% for the year. So this isn't all gloom and doom stuff here. That's a real positive thing right there.